Hello there, my love. Thank you so much for being here. Truly, I mean that. Thank you for investing your time and your energy into your growth. I think it's so vital that we acknowledge what we're doing for ourselves moving forward, even when it feels as if we're not getting anywhere, things are going so slowly, taking so long, all of those things that voice inside our head comes in and tries to throw us off our game. Acknowledge yourself for taking the time and investing the energy into being better. So we've talked about your vision. We've talked at length about your vision, wherever it is that you are engaged with me on my social media platforms, in my small group coaching, in my one-on-one private client coaching. We talk about vision a lot because in order to truly direct your life, in order to aim your life, you have to be connected to what it's all for. You have to know what it is that you're aiming for. Otherwise, things just become arbitrary. They become kind of like run of the mill, kind of going through the motion, checking off the boxes. We convince ourselves that we're living a life when truly we're coming to a January 1st every year, living the same year over and over again and trying to call that a life. It's not going to cut it. In this conversation today about vision, in this broader framework about what it's all for, I want you to connect deeply to your more. And that's what your vision is, right? It's connecting to your more, the big picture of what it is that you want. I want to introduce you to a concept that I think you may have heard, but maybe not quite this way, or you may have heard, but it didn't quite hit you right where you needed it because you weren't quite ready to hear the message of it. You ready? You can't be all in with your goals, your ambitions, your dreams, whilst also secretly waiting for everything to fall apart. You cannot be both feet in to the things that you want to create for your life, things you want to manifest for your life, and be secretly waiting for everything to fall to shit. The two things cannot coexist. I talk a lot about two thoughts being able to live in your brain at the same time and living and life, not always having to choose one or the other. In this concept right here is where two frames of mind do not coexist. And the trouble I think that so many of us have is that we say we're all in, we desperately want to be all in, but through self-protection mechanisms, we're secretly waiting for everything to fall apart. We're holding ourselves back so we're not disappointed, or so that we don't feel kind of let down by things not working out how we want them to. The voice inside our head is secretly like waiting to be able to say, told you so. We're 1.5 feet in and the other foot is way over there, trying to hold on to stable ground so that you don't feel as off center when things don't go your way. What could it look like to have the courage to go both feet in, to fully dive in? I know even that language can be scary. We say things like, take the leap, fly, jump in. We use that kind of language and it's scary. If you think about the language, jump in, go for it, dive in, it can sound big, right? And when it sounds big, there's a tendency, especially for those of us that have been through traumatic things, or we've had a lot of learning of our worth being based in accomplishment, or feeling protected or safe when we don't put ourselves out there for fear of judgment or ridicule or failure. That feeling of it being unsafe, using those big words and those big kind of visuals, that is going to have that half a foot always seeking to be planted in certainty. So maybe your language isn't both feet in. Maybe your language isn't taking the leap. Maybe your language isn't dive in. What can it look like for you to be all about the intentions that you have and the progress that you want to make? Maybe every day you commit to taking one step forward. One step forward sounds less scary than diving in, right? But maybe your commitment is every day you take one step forward. Every day you do one more thing that puts you closer towards your ambitions. I need you to truly get this concept that you cannot be all in on your dreams, your ambitions, your goals, the aspirations that you have for your life, and be secretly waiting for things to fall apart. Have the courage to go for it. One step at a time, one goal achieved at a time. Maybe you shuffle 1% closer towards your ambitions every day. Whatever the language needs to look like for you to feel safe enough to do the things, choose the language, but commit to going for it this year. You can't live the same year after year after year, and try and call that a life. Something eventually has to shift, and that shift will always come from inside here. I believe in you. It's time you start believing in you too.